Hey Guardians, I just want to let everyone know that I do have both a Twitch and a Twitter, and I'm very active on both. Feel free to come give me a follow on both, links in the description. Well, someone at Bungie must have railed a fat line before designing this gun. Guardians, today we're talking about Red Death. This Destiny 1 classic returned to us this season, and it is an exotic, high-impact solar pulse rifle you can get from the Season Pass. If you paid for the Season Pass, you already have it, and if you're on the free one, then you'll need to wait quite a few levels. I don't want to get too much into the weapon's history here, I have time constraints, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about in Final Shape still, which is also why the gameplay in the background just isn't edited much. Just know that this was a highly favored pulse in Destiny 1. This will likely be a shorter video since this is just a very straightforward weapon. Well, Red Death is back, and it's strong in both PvE and PvP. Take a look at its exotic perks here. First off, we have Redemption. Final blows with this weapon cure you and increase reload speed. Reloading after final blows cures nearby allies. Then Inverse Relationship. When you deal damage with this weapon, it gains increased handling, takes reduced flinch, and movement speed is increased for a short time. When you are at reduced health, this weapon deals additional damage. Now, starting off with PvE, this weapon provides a ton of survivability. I actually used it for the majority of the Legend campaign of Final Shape, and it genuinely made it a breeze. And I did also use it during part of my day one attempt of Salvation's Edge, and it was invaluable at keeping me alive. If you're low on health, all you have to do is just beam an ad, and that's usually enough to save your life. And of course, keep in mind, the catalyst that drops in Act 2 of the season will make it so Red Death essentially creates a healing rift on you on a kill. So depending on your loadout, this is a good PvE choice. Obviously, I think most hunters are still going to go for Still Hunt with Golden Gun and Nighthawk, and I'd imagine most other people will stick to Sunshot for raw ad clear. But if you're not rocking that, then Red Death is a pretty strong option. It definitely does not have the ad clear potential of something like Sunshot, but if you're in an activity where survivability is key and you need some extra range, then Red Death is still a very strong choice. And once the catalyst drops, it will also make Red Death a very strong support weapon from that healing rift. Now, moving on to PvP. This gun is a problem. I'm not joking. This gun needs to be nuked heavily. Red Death is broken. Like broken. You know, no time to explain. The pulse rifle I've been saying is the best in the game for more than 2 years now. The pulse rifle that is by far the easiest overall primary to use and aims itself. Well, I want you to take no time. Make it solar, make it heal on kill, remove every ounce of recoil it has, give it Zen Moment, add increased movement speed to it, and make it do more damage when you're low on health, and you have Red Death. I really didn't expect this rifle to perform as well as it does. Granted, PvP right now is mostly just rats laning with pulse rifles anyway, and Red Death is one of their top picks for a reason. Looking at its base stats, the range is good at 85, giving you 38 or so meters, but the stability is awful, and I expected this to be a problem since stability is usually king on pulse rifles. But as it turns out, it isn't. You know how Outbreak Perfected has literally no recoil at all? Imagine if it were a high impact pulse and you basically get Red Death, because this weapon's recoil is only slightly harsher than Outbreak's. And that means you'll have a much easier time two bursting with this gun than any other high impact pulse. There is no need to try and control Red Death's recoil at all. Now, the reload speed is a little low, but kills with Red Death also increase its reload speed. AE is pretty mid at 24, but outside of rat locks on heat rises, most people aren't going to be going airborne with a high impact pulse all that often anyway. These weapons are meant for passive play. Literally, the only downside that Red Death has is its handling, and that's not exactly a hard fix. Handling mods, speedloader slacks, Ophidian aspects, plus with the exotic class items, any class can get access to Ophidian's handling now, so it genuinely just doesn't matter that much. Then, of course, Red Death has what I would consider to be a better version of Heal Clip, because while Heal Clip heals you on a reload after a kill, Red Death just outright heals you on a kill, no reload needed. Combine that with a Precious Scars Titan or a Wormhusk Hunter, and you can see some combos there. So what you have here is a high impact pulse with 38 meters of range, healing on kills, flinch reduction on hits, increased handling on hits, increased movement speed on hits, and no recoil at all. This may very well be the easiest primary in the entire game to utilize in PvP. This gun is broken, it is overpowered, it genuinely makes No Time look tame, and it will become a massive problem in PvP. It arguably already is a massive problem in PvP. If you thought No Time was annoying, this gun is infinitely worse. Red Death has a permanent spot in my inventory for that reason. You will often need Red Death to counter other Red Death users. And if you've played PvP at all lately, and I know between Final Shape's release, Day 1 raid prep, and that new DLC and seasonal grind, most of us haven't had a lot of time to, but it's already all over the Crucible. PvP right now feels very concerningly like the No Time meta a couple of years ago. It's a lot of players sitting next to overshield barricades or in rifts or going invis and just laning back as far as they can. And this is a problem, and one that Bungie needs to address immediately. The No Time to Explain meta was awful. Passive metas in Destiny are bad. They feel horrible, and Bungie needs to jump all over Red Death as quickly as possible, because this gun is a problem. So, Red Death is a great weapon in PvE and an outright broken one in PvP. It's not like I want to see any weapon become unusable outside of bows, but this gun is a problem, and it desperately needs to get hit, or else we'll find ourselves in yet another high-impact pulse meta, and those are awful. Hopefully Bungie sees the issue here, because if not, then the Crucible is in for a rough time, and given PvP's current state, it really does not need anything making it worse. But that's all from me today, Guardians. I know this was a short video, but I'm having to work on content and grind new weapons, and now we have the class items to grind as well, but I wanted to make sure you guys had at least something from me. So leave me your thoughts on Red Death in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the best way you can support this channel is to hit that subscribe button with the bell icon and share this video with anyone who you think might find it interesting or entertaining. For now, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, Guardians.